There's a lot of people out there that really have a big distaste or flat out just don't like cell cameras. I feel like there's a couple different reasons behind that. One is a lot of people think that they can be used in an unethical manner, and there is a debate there, but ultimately the camera itself is just a tool. It's up to the hunter to deem what is moral, what is ethical. But there's also a lot of people out there that think or have a distaste for cell cameras because they think they spook deer. They think they spook bucks. They put a cell camera out there and boom, their photos shut down and they think it's cell cam related. Now there's a long aging debate. Do trail cameras spook deer? Do they have the potential to spook deer? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. Your regular SD card cameras can spook deer. Your cell cameras can spook deer. And there's a lot of different reasons for that, which we're going to explain in this video. So when you look at regular cameras, regular trail cameras, and then you compare them to cellular cameras, there is one thing different between a regular trail camera and a cell camera. Obviously the camera's transmitting images over a cellular network, so it has different pieces of hardware. To explain this is the most simple manner as possible, anywhere where a cellular device works, you have what is called RF, which are radio frequencies. And these radio waves, these frequencies, is what moves data. Now, if your cellular device has signal in that area, that energy, that RF, that data being pushed is already in the atmosphere. It's already apparent. Having a cell camera in that environment is not changing anything. It's like, we have a whole separate video on this of why cellular cameras don't spook deer. But when you're introducing that into an environment that has cellular service, the bottom line is you're not changing anything. If you remove that cell camera, you still have RF there. You still have devices moving data to the cellular network. So the cellular camera itself is not doing anything. Now, when you start talking about why cell cameras spook deer, it's all related back to, do trail cameras spook deer? And again, they can spook deer. And that's, one of the most important things we talk about is trail camera placement and going through your spook proof equation. And you see this set behind me. It's on a multi-trunk tree. It's 6 feet up. We don't have a strap. And those are some of the things that we talk about. We never want to hang our trail cameras below that 6 foot mark. Somewhere between 6 and 8 feet is what we like. Once you start going higher than 8 feet, you start to actually decrease or inhibit the camera's ability to detect movement in that area. So you're limiting your detection zone. Once you get above 10, 12, 13, 14 feet, you really limit what you can actually what the camera can actually pick up. But being on a multi-trunk tree, you have side cover, so that camera is less visible. If you can't get into a multi-trunk tree like this, it's good to be on a tree that's bigger than the diameter of the camera. Beyond that, we don't like to use straps. We've kind of eliminated that over the last couple of years. We go to paracord, and that's more for being noticed by humans than animals. But then the last thing is, we don't put these cameras in the face of deer. We want to be at least 15, 20, 25 feet. 20 to 25 feet is kind of ideal for our cameras, but we're not putting these cameras in the face of a deer. We're not going into an active scrape and putting that camera 6 feet away from that scrape to get a cool video. We're using these as hunting tools. We don't want to spook deer. We're not necessarily worried about some fancy, crazy, cool video or cool picture. We're using them as tools to fill our tags. And the last thing we want to do with our cameras is have some type of negative impact on the bucks that we're chasing. So the next talking point we have to mention is, it comes from an age-old debate of, white flash versus red flash versus black flash. Does a white flash spook deer? Does a red flash camera spook deer? Does a black flash camera spook deer? And it all, boils down to all these bucks, all these deer, they all have individual personalities. They all react to things a little bit different. But one of the raps that cell cameras get about spooking bucks is that a lot of companies over the last few years have been putting out red flash cameras, which in my opinion spook more deer than white flash cameras and black flash cameras. When you start talking about cell cameras, they're starting to hit critical mass. There's more and more people using them. And one of the challenges with cell cameras is the compression software in them and how those photos are compressed to smaller file sizes and what incurs from that compression in relation to photo quality. And one of the challenges with black flash trail cameras are the nighttime nighttime images. You're just putting less light out for an actual nighttime image to be captured. So with less light, things become what we call grainy or noisy because the ISO has to be higher. But you can solve that by emitting more light. So a lot of camera companies, a lot of trail camera companies have been putting out new cell cams over the last couple years. A lot of them have been red flash cameras. And so with that, in my opinion, that is a big part of people thinking cell cameras spook deer. But again, it's not related to that cellular module. It's not related to the RF. It's not related to the function of the cell camera. It's, in my opinion, it's more related to what type of flash that is actually being used in that device. So the bottom line on this topic is, every deer has their own personality. They're all individuals, and they're going to react to things in their environment all differently. There's going to be different consequences from human intrusion or cameras or whatever the case is per individual deer and what they actually tolerate. But in this conversation, cell cameras themselves are not spooking deer. Trail cameras themselves are not spooking deer. It's how you use them, the manner that you use them, the manner that you place them, the manner that you check them, the manner that you run them is ultimately going to dictate whether or not cameras spook deer.